Hello, my name is Josie Steed. I'm a fashion and textile design researcher at Robert Gordon University, based at Grey School of Art in Aberdeen. My talk introduces our research called Augmented Fashion, working in partnership with academics at Donghua University in Shanghai. We're exploring how interactive and immersive technologies can be used to inform and educate about the heritage and value of traditional artisan textile and craft skills, both here in the UK, specifically in Scotland, and in China around the Shanghai area, where both countries have long histories and cultural traditions related to textile making. As our lives have become increasingly digital and fast-paced, our research explores how these technologies can revalue handmaking, that can reconnect people with clothing and textiles in a more meaningful way. Specific emphasis within the project is on communicating to consumers how our clothes are made and the importance of moving to more sustainable methods of fashion production. The project explores how immersive experience, by these I mean augmented and mixed realities, which I'll explain further later, could be used to represent and preserve the living history and heritage of traditional fashion and textile products for future generations. In this talk, I'll discuss the background to the project and the work carried out so far, establishing and enhancing partnerships and networks among UK and Shanghai-based researchers, creative businesses and organisations. The project has three key objectives. Firstly, to enhance our understanding of sustainable clothing production, leading to a better appreciation of slow fashion values and more sustainable consumption of fashion and clothing. Secondly, to develop a deep understanding of how immersive technologies and their applications can be used by fashion and textile practitioners. And finally, to facilitate global interdisciplinarity between computer sciences and the creative fashion and textile industries. China and the UK both have long histories and cultural traditions related to textiles and clothing. Scotland is the main focus for our research, which has a rich history of woven tweeds and tartans, knitted cashmeres and woolens that continue to survive today through heritage textile companies such as Harris Tweed Hebrides, Johnsons of Elgin, and in Shetland, the Fair Isle Knitting. They continue to produce hand-finished textiles where many of their manufacturing processes are still rooted in traditional making techniques. Similarly, parallels can be drawn with China's rich history of cultivating and producing beautiful silk products, such as the traditional dresses of the Kipao, Hanfu and Son Chin, and their position as one of the world's largest textile and clothing producers. Chinese textiles were among the most powerful commodities in world history. The oldest piece of silk cloth found in the world originates from China and dates to roughly 3630 BCE. So when we talk about textiles as being an ancient tradition, we're actually talking about a cultural practice as old as the world's first systems of writing, mathematics, and even the wheel. We're interested in how we can preserve these traditional textile techniques that are currently at risk of being lost due to global industrialised manufacture, so that we can safeguard skills and ensure sustainable employment for future generations. It's important to revalue the human effort that make our clothes, ensuring that young people see traditional textiles as a vibrant and viable career choice, and also to revalue the creative design process at a time when design is becoming increasingly homogenised due to global fast fashion, which loses the cultural identities and significance of our textiles to a geographical place. Fashion has embraced computer technology, with online sales continuing to grow and fashion film increasingly being used to market creative designs. This presents within our project an opportunity to redress the balance by using technology to educate and shape an alternative and sustainable future for fashion design of traditional textiles. So, what are immersive technologies and how are they currently being used within fashion and textiles? Immersive technologies are best described as a mix of technologies that can mimic our physical world, recreating the sensory feelings and sensations that can make a virtual experience feel real. Increasingly, they're being used in the gaming and leisure industries, within education, creating virtual learning environments, within the military, and within medical purposes such as surgery, and in virtual tourism and building constructions. Augmented reality, often shortened to AR, can be confused with virtual reality, shortened as VR, but they are very different. While virtual reality blocks off the outside world and can enclose you in a virtual world, augmented reality overlays the real world with digital imagery. Unlike VR, which still isn't widely used for a variety of reasons, AR does not require dedicated immersive hardware like headgear, goggles and gloves, where it is built to work with smartphones and tablets. Within fashion, augmented reality is now being used to revolutionise how customers interact with brands. For example, retail giant Zara does this by using augmented reality for their in-store displays. Aside from the wow factor, the feature makes shopping convenient. Customers can just click on certain items to automatically purchase them. Geography is one of the main reasons why the runway fashion show format has lost favour in recent years. The traditional catwalk presents limited opportunities to tap global audiences, unless technology is used to share it beyond its physical bounds. Viewers in multiple locations around the world are now able to watch catwalk shows using smartphones in real time. The image on the left-hand side shows fashion retailer Topshop, who gave customers specially commissioned virtual reality headsets to enter the 360-degree virtual world of a live fashion show. The headsets gave customers a live feed of the Topshop catwalk show, as well as all the backstage action. Special cameras recording the scenes were used on the catwalk and backstage so that each participant was able to look around at models and celebrities as part of the event. The image in the middle shows how augmented reality can be used to layer virtual objects onto the real world. Zara used augmented reality displays, which they introduced into their stores in 2018. Customers could hold their mobile phones in front of a shop window to see models wearing pieces from the latest lines. And the image on the right-hand side shows a collaboration with British designer Christopher Rayburn, who created an immersive digital fashion show. Inspired by all things natural such as rain, wind and the sun, this fashion show was a memorable experience for those that attended. The models were featured in a 360-degree immersive installation that was surrounded by digitised interpretations of the weather. The most captivating display was one that featured the models encased in an asymmetrical digital display that showed circular lights and chaotic blue and purple swirls. The digital fashion show combined fashion with technology in a way that revitalised the fashion show concept. Pressure has moved towards a more sustainable fashion and textile industry, recognising the disastrous impact the industry has on the environment, being the second largest polluter in the world after the oil industry. Fashion drives our demand for newness, where it uses resources that are limited and potentially damaging to the environment, creating excessive and unnecessary landfill waste. We buy over a megaton of clothing in the UK each year, yet wear only 44% of our wardrobes. We've become removed from how our clothes are made, where many see fashion as fast, disposable clothing worn for a short period of time, often only once. Fast fashion has pushed prices down, moving production to low-cost labour countries and impacting on the traditional Scottish textile economy, which finds it difficult to attract young people to work with them, leading to a chronic skills shortage within the industry. Our project is interested in how we can form new relationships between fashion and technology. Immersive Technologies can support traditional methods of textile and clothing manufacture to offer a fashion alternative to this fast fashion emergency. As an example, for how could virtual reality be used as the ultimate empathy machine, transporting consumers to a clothes landfill site through a virtual reality headset to experience the enormity of the emergency? So, after talking about the context and background behind our research, I'm now going to talk about our project, our team, both in the UK and in China, what we did, and some of the highlights. Our UK team comprises of 3 academics at Robert Gordon University. The project is led by Dr. Yang Jiang from the School of Computing Science and Digital Media, alongside Karen Cross, who's the strategic lead within the School of Creative Cultural Business School, and myself from Gray's School of Art. In the first phase, our UK industry partners included Margaret MacLeod, Sales Director at Harris Tweed Hebrides, and Kirsten Stewart, an Orkney-based printed textile designer. In Shanghai, our Chinese principal academic partner is Professor Rong Zheng from Donghua University. Donghua University is known as the China Textile University and is internationally renowned for their design and materials disciplines. Our Chinese industry partner is the Shanghai Promotion Center for City of Fashion, which promotes the construction of Shanghai as the fashion capital of China and provides resources and services to the fashion industries. During our short 6-month project, we had visits to China to establish our Chinese partnerships. In the UK, we visited Orkney, Harris and Shetland to build partnerships and research collaboration opportunities. And we also delivered a research workshop at the university with our UK partners, academics from across Scotland and industry representatives and organisations. The first stage of this project focused on relationship building, ready for the second phase, where we would then be able to concentrate on the collaboration efforts in working with immersive technologies. Our first trip to Shanghai was with our UK industry and creative partners for an intensive 5-day trip to meet our academic and industry partners in China. During this visit, we had meetings at Donghua University, exchanging ideas and practices, and visited many of the textile cultural museums and archives, where Donghua University has its own designated museum on Chinese textiles. We were fortunate to go during Shanghai Fashion Week and able to experience the excitement of fashion shows and previews, whilst also participating at an international conference at the University on Textile Technology. Meetings with our academic partners involved sharing stories, building our mutual understanding and interests in working together. A key part of our visits there was in understanding the Chinese culture, heritage and contemporary lifestyles. Shanghai is a unique city, the cultural capital of China, the largest city in the world with a population of 24 million. In comparison with the population of the whole of Scotland is a mere 5.5 million, gives some idea of the scale not only of the city but also the size of this country. Highly sophisticated and modern while also firmly rooted in its past and traditions, China is a complex country. Visiting China helped us to understand both the opportunities but also the challenges of working in partnership, where our culture, heritage, customs and values are so uniquely different. For example, within textiles, their perception of material qualities is very different from ours. Bright colours such as the distinctive reds and golds seen in Chinese products are culturally significant, a symbol of prosperity. Red, the colour of Chinese weddings, symbolises good luck, joy and happiness. Silk fabric is luxurious, cool and light to wear. In contrast, Scottish textiles are perceived as being much more muted colour palettes, reflecting natural landscapes such as seen in our tweeds and checks. Wool is our main natural material, seen by the Chinese market as less valuable and inconsistent in its appearance. Developing mutual understanding of their culture together with our own has been incredibly important in building relationships and partnerships. In May 2019, we held a workshop at RGU that explored the opportunities and challenges that exist in the areas of fashion, textiles, and immersive technologies. We invited representatives from across the university and other universities across Scotland, creative and industry, historic, archive and arts organisations. In total, we had over 30 contributors to the day, where there were presentations and discussions for knowledge exchange around augmented fashion. All our presentations are available through our website, where the address can be found on the final slide. We also explored cultural representations, including what do we think of when we talk of made in China and made in Scotland, to challenge and unpack cultural stereotyping, misconceptions. The afternoon focused on activities based around a 5-point mapping exercise where our groups identified specific problems, opportunities, insights, needs and developing themes. The key workshop findings were around storytelling and provenance, understanding the narrative behind the object and product as being fundamental, human interaction and humanity as being important in this new world of augmented reality, technology merely facilitating the process of communication and information, and authenticity, communicating the personal interaction to appreciate the value in hand making. These findings have significantly helped in forming the project's second phase to a far more substantial project with a partnership development now in place across the two countries. So now to the highlights and outcomes of this initial research phase. Through our exchange visits to Shanghai, we were able to promote and introduce Shanghai-based fashion design brand Cindy Sung to the Harris Tweed Hebrides brand and their Shanghai agents, resulting in Cindy Sung now developing a range utilising Harris Tweed cloth as a direct impact of the project. We also developed a new project called a Knowledge Transfer Partnership, KTP, with Harris Tweed Hebrides and RGU to embed design-led innovation and explore sustainable manufacture practices within the brand. The 2-year project will commence hopefully later in 2020 or in early 2021. We developed significant more partnerships across Scotland and China around Shanghai during our project and have been successful in our second Arts and Humanities Research Council funding bid for a 3-year project which started at the beginning of February 2020. We're now one of the 8 creative partnerships in the UK that began in the outbreak of COVID-19. In both the UK and China, COVID-19 has impacted on the creative and cultural industries in a range of ways, many of which have had a devastating effect, but some of which have also catalysed innovation, especially in new forms of digital engagement, as well as highlighting major changes in patterns of consumption. This has been seen across fashion, the cultural sector and beyond. For example, the pandemic has generated a boom in demand for online products and services. In China, consumers have turned to online services, fueling growth in the stay-at-home economy. Demand for digital content in the creative sector is also soaring, with much greater demand for streaming services and gaming, including a shift in consumers, including groups which have not previously engaged with digital content. The creative industries are being rapidly reshaped by the outbreak of coronavirus and the pivot to digital platforms and online engagement. A range of major new avenues of research are opening up of interest to both the UK and China, in such areas such as the broader application of VR and AR, audience engagement with virtual performances and exhibitions, online gaming, digital education, and in fashion and textiles. We are uniquely placed to help understand and respond to the changes taking place in the creative and cultural industries in both countries, where our research has the opportunity to be of long-term significance to the ways in which creativity and culture is created and experienced internationally. Collaborative investigation of this evolving landscape between the UK and China therefore offers a unique opportunity to explore the longer term impacts of COVID-19 in the creative industries at a global level, and we're excited to be part of this. So thank you for listening. You can find out more about our project by visiting our website www.augmentedfashion.ac.uk, which will be continually updated as our work in augmented fashion continues. I would like to just thank the Arts and Humanities Research Council and Scottish Informatics and Computer Science Alliance for their continued support with our project, and to our academic researchers at Donghua University, especially Professor Rong Zhang, who we are very much hoping to welcome to Scotland in the not too distant future. And to all our industry partners, both here in the UK and in China, we say thank you and very much looking forward to working with you in the future. And finally, a big thank you to our University Research Office at RGU who has supported us throughout.